Hello, welcome back to BLENDERSUSHI live noding. In this episode, we're gonna continue a little bit from yesterday. So you can see this is the new result, and this is actually just a very small tweak from yesterday. Yesterday, what we have is something like this, like a kind of like a wavy stripes, and we already know how to make this. And then what I did here, basically, instead of modifying the points back here, basically I add some things like vector noise just after the plane, and this guy gonna be like the new points that plug into the rest of the setup. So this is as if what's going on is like if you have like a bunch of points in 3D and you kind of you disturb the points first before you proceed with the rest of the setup, and then what you have is something like this. It's almost like if you go to cycle render, let me switch real quick, and you have, let's say you have like an image. I'm gonna quickly make a cycle material. If I select an object, I'll create a torus and new material, and then you have like an image texture, and if you have like noise and you plug in the noise into the vector of image texture, that's this is what's going on. Very similar to that idea. So back to Spreadshop. Now we have something that resembles kind of like a, I look at it and it looks like a rose, a bunch of roses scattered together in one spot. So it looks like a fractal as well, and this is quite you can make like a lot of variation of this. There's like unlimited variations, basically just changing the seed. And if you really want, we can also make a larger version of this. What I mean is currently we only have 128 points by 128 points, and if we want, we can increase this a little bit higher, like 512 by 512. So it's gonna be 4 times larger than this. Excuse me, 4 times larger. And while it's cooking, I can show you another article. This is something that I found by accident as well. It's visualizations made easy using GNU plot. So it's like this article by Lee Phillips, March 2012, and using this program, you see it's generating something that's you're familiar from previous live noding. You can make something similar in Spreadshop if you use the exponential, so in the X and Y, so it's become the radius for this kind of a circular kind of structure. And this is the program in GNU plot. You don't need to worry too much about it, but what you can see is the function here is similar to what you apply inside Spreadshop. And basically the limit is this guy. I think there's X range and Y range. It's 4 units in negative and positive. So suddenly everything makes a bit more sense, right? And there's another look at the same functions, and there is this one, I don't quite understand it. You can continue. This is something that you can see in Spreadshop that we did the other day, similar thing, and you also saw something similar to this, but this is the function sine x cos 2 times y, and I think this is really good. This is really good example for to add to what we've been studying. And there's another one, making a vector plot. This is something that I have not done in Spreadshop yet, but I would like to make something like this. That's a kind of like a, you might have seen like a map, like a weather kind of visualization. This is what they use, I think, more or less. So I think is it finished cooking? Okay, this have done cooking. You know, now it's a bit heavier. The preview actually is a bit screw up now because we have 4 times more information that's needed in this visualizations. This visualization, we can change it to 512 by 512. Now we can see this guy is kind of matching this guy. Okay, so it's a larger version. This only have from 64 by 64 up to 1024 by 1024. At some point, maybe you have more resolutions in here and less resolution here that you want to see, and vice versa. You can always kind of tweak, maybe have both, like 2 of these, and then kind of type it down the line. Have like a separate, one is to generate the texture and the other one is to generate and displace the surface. And these guys currently, if I bake it out, it's gonna be a little bit heavy because it's 512 by 512. How big is that? This guy. It's quite a lot. 554,500 triangles. You can probably try to reduce this. You don't want to have that. Actually, the best way to do it is probably using Blender's displacement. So we're gonna output like this texture, for example, and then with this guy we can have just like a simple plane being subdivided using one of the Blender's subdivision modifier. With this guy itself, we can kind of reduce it. I think I'll try decimate and then try unsubdividing it. Let's try if this actually works. Unsubdivide might take longer. Actually, this doesn't take long. Unsubdivide it 4 times, so we have like 4 times less polygon phase. So we can actually work with this now. And if we simply apply a displacement, we should more or less get the result that we saw earlier. So yeah, this is just a, like I said, just a quick addition from yesterday's live noding. Just because of this vector noise, we can get this result. You can also use vector fractal, although with vector fractal you only have like a scalar output, which might actually work as well. You just need to push the noise differently. With a vector noise, you can have like a vector output. You see, not just scalar. Scalar is a single value, single multiple values. With vector, you get 3 values for every generation. Well, this actually takes a while, so let's go back to this. I think this is very good. You can check in this web link. I'm gonna give it this link as well in the description of the video. You can see this is exactly what I was talking about. The texture representations in 2-dimensional is probably just looking like a circle, but the actual displacement is like this kind of structure. And what if we are shifting the texture plane, we can get some kind of contour, like a topological contour. Plotting a path, drawing parametric surface. This is all things that you can do inside Fractal. Not all of them is simple. Some of them are already made a lot simpler because of Fractal nodes, but this is really good. Maybe I should look at this book from PACKT. I'm gonna save it. Anyway, that's a good reference. This one seems to be done. Well, I'm gonna reduce this to actually just leave it like this. Yeah, I guess that's pretty much for this live noding video. It's rather short one, but I think it's still useful addition to what we have already. So you can actually modify the coordinates of points before you modify it further. It's easier to keep the points like a grid, and then you make modifications with functions, and then you can go back and then you modify the grid, maybe using a randomized input vertices. For example, you randomize the original points and you look at the result, and you get interesting result without so much hassle. This is kind of like a magic surface that we made by accident. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. If you have any question, just let me know down below. Any feedbacks, also just put it in the comment section. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next